Despite being just 21 years old, Togi has quickly become the most controversial fitness influencer on the planet, with him glorifying taking massive amounts of steroids, gambling his life savings away, and jumping from one addiction to the next. The insanity that is Togi's life has garnered him millions of views and a devoted following throughout his platforms. However, with his abuse of narcotics, steroids, and other substances, online commentators have questioned how long he actually has left to do this. To understand Togi's life, we need to go back and see how he ended up this way, but it's incredibly difficult to find any information on Togi or Shane Stoffer. This is due to the fact that almost all of his social media accounts eventually get banned as a result of the insane content which gets posted on there. Going off his main account though, The Life of Stogie, he made his first post in the beginning of 2022, which around this time was just standard gym memes and content. His personality seemed pretty laid back in these videos, with him making jokes and showing off his physique. This laid back approach wouldn't last forever though, as in early 2023 he posted his physique with a comment attached saying that this would be his last natty video, and it really seemed like he was telling the truth. Soon after, his physique literally exploded and in just a few months was looking like this. In the comments of this physique update, he revealed that his cycle was test and var, which seems like the first mention of his cycle, but he would only get more and more open about what he was taking. He posted this TikTok which showed his face transformation after taking Tren, commenting that he went from looking like a bitch into a Chad. He was only 20 years old at this point and has a following of young and impressionable kids. So to imply that before taking Tren you probably look like a bitch is probably not a great message to send. People on the TikTok actually commented that this was their sign to hop on, but really, this was just the beginning of his glorification of steroids. His TikTok is now filled with videos of him using steroids and showing off the results and the workouts that he gets while on them. His comment sections are filled with jealousy and people asking questions about steroids, obviously curious on how they can hop on. And in a podcast appearance on Larry Wheels' show, he actually revealed that this was all part of his master plan.
It was a perfect storm. So I started off with just straight up glorifying steroids, making some of the hardest edits on the internet. People like the shizzy edits, which are dope.
Togi's goal was to get rich and famous, but his content wasn't exactly popping off on TikTok. So in order to differentiate himself from the crowd, he decided that he was going to use steroids on camera and essentially show how effective they are in transforming your physique. And his plan clearly worked. Since he started posting more steroid glorification videos, his follower count and the views on these videos have exploded, gaining hundreds of thousands of followers each month by the end of 2023. One point a lot of people make with Togi is that he isn't directly telling people to take steroids, and that he should be applauded for being so open about it. Togi stated himself that he isn't looking to become a positive influence on people, and a lot of his fans actually respect that. There's so many influencers online nowadays that continuously lie about not taking steroids when they clearly are on. So in some ways, Togi seems like a breath of fresh air, bringing transparency into an industry which is overrun with fake natties looking to sell their supplements. However, this is where it starts to take a controversial turn though, as he started to lean more into the gym cell lifestyle and has drawn huge criticisms for glorifying steroids more than ever before. He noticed his plan to become famous through glorifying steroids was working, and his personality became even more exaggerated and unhinged because of it, which added fuel to the fire. The comments asking about steroids were getting even more worrying too, with people as young as 18 asking whether or not it was worth it to jump on, clearly being inspired by Togi's videos, and they were about to get even more Togi content to consume, as in December of 2023 he launched his YouTube channel, which gave us a better insight into how deep his addictions really go. He hasn't really spoken about other drugs on his TikTok other than steroids, but in his YouTube channel he's incredibly open with things such as his gambling addiction, reliance on caffeine, and other hundreds of substances that he's on. In his first video titled Day in the Life of a Gear Addicted College Dropout, he shows us everything he does in a normal day, which to you and me probably looks completely insane. In this video, he wakes up at around 1:40 p.m, which is early for him, and one of the very first things he does is lose $300 on the roulette wheel. Normally, this would be enough to wake someone up and be ready for the day, but not for the caffeine-addicted Togi who needs 10 shots of espresso in his Starbucks coffee just to feel something.
Boom. This fun little drink, fun little guy, 10 shots of espresso, a little bit of milk, a little bit of cream. 900 milligrams of caffeine in that guy.
After this caffeine shot, the next logical place would probably be to go to the gym. However, Togi still has more money to lose through gambling, and he still needs to take his concoction of steroids, so he'll head home. But on the way there, he'll realize that he needs more money to gamble, of course. So he sells off his jewelry, which amounts to $23,000.
If I were to buy it outright, I could probably do it for about 23.
He goes home with this money and immediately puts it all on Plinko. Then, after taking his concoction of steroids and gear, he's finally ready to hit the gym. This didn't happen all in one day, but it gives us an average look at the day in his life. In some of his vlogs, he hasn't woken up till 9 PM, sleeping through entire days, which he claims is due to the steroids. One of the worst gambling incidents occurred after he gambled his entire life savings on Plinko balls.
But yeah, I fucking spent my life savings on Plinko balls.
After he deposited and lost $9,000 on Plinko, he put that exact same amount on roulette and lost that too. He's now down $18,000, and there's only one way to earn that money back, which is of course to play Plinko balls. He spent the rest of the evening swapping games between Plinko and roulette, and by the end of the stream, he had gambled over $190,000 and lost it all. He gave a disclaimer in this video that it was not a skit, and that was his genuine life savings. This meant that he had no money to pay his manufacturer for the clothing business, and so in a last-ditch effort to save his business, he borrowed 10 grand from his best friend. His friend even said he has a problem, but Togi dismissed it and called it a hobby. Instead of paying his debts with the 10 grand, you've probably guessed it already, he decided to put it all in Plinko, and this ended pretty much how he'd expected to. Most people would call it quits here, but to the gambling addicted Togi, he needed one more chance. So after selling his jewelry that we saw earlier for $23,000, he proceeded to put all that remains on black, and you will not believe the outcome of this. Many people have criticized him for promoting gambling alongside steroids. However, a commenter in this video made a perfect point, with them saying that his content should be the definitive proof that gambling does not work. Although many people enjoy his videos as pure entertainment, Togi tried to venture into a more educational style of video, with him teaching his viewers the pros and cons of different steroids. However, it seems like this information wasn't quite correct, as it drew the criticism of Coach Greg, who was more than happy to dismantle pretty much everything he said about each of the steroids. The issue of glorifying steroids can be talked down. Like I said before, people have hailed him as a breath of fresh air in the fitness community, and he doesn't claim to be a good influence. However, when he starts to misinform people and attempting to educate, that's when the real problems start, as someone watching this video contemplating steroids could be talked into taking them by Togi, labeling their side effects as not that bad or non-existent. On top of his misinformation about steroids, he constantly claims that he feels on top of the world, with him claiming this on different podcasts and that he feels the best he's ever felt. But the vlogs in his channel seem to go against this idea, as he's constantly sleeping for over 15 hours at a time, missing entire days of eating, and his addiction problems seem to only be getting worse, with him acting more and more erratically on stream. His videos are entertaining to watch. You can't help but feel quite sad while doing so, like the way that you can't bring yourself to look away from a train crash which is happening right in front of your eyes. Whether it's watching him burn through his entire life savings playing Plinko balls, having over 2 times a daily dose of caffeine in one coffee, or watching him take progressively more and more drugs. Togi has actually been drawing comparisons to Sam Sulek too, having an awful diet, being young, ripped, and having a meteoric rise on social media. However, the differences couldn't be more pronounced, given that their personalities are the complete opposite in the constant talk of steroids by Togi. One person that he talked steroids with was Alex Eubank, and he talked about how poor his diet and lifestyle actually is. He admitted that now he's on his 3rd cycle, he isn't as hungry to chase his dream physique anymore.
I don't need to, I'm not hungry for it anymore.
And how he's effectively wasted this entire steroid cycle through only training twice a week and not eating like he's supposed to. And I think this shows the biggest issue for Togi, and that is what's next for him. He's already gotten tired of the bodybuilding lifestyle which brought him to fame in the first place, and although he makes a lot of money, he's developed a crippling gambling addiction along the way. His lifespan has presumably been cut in half by his abuse of drugs, which goes beyond just steroids, as he's admitted to snorting creatine and being addicted to Xanax in the past. He is living what a lot of people see as the standard 20-year-old money lifestyle of going to frat parties, taking drugs, and spending more money than you know what to do with. However, it makes you seriously worried for how far Togi is going to spiral. And And if you like this video and you want to see more, click the video that's on your screen now and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss my next upload.
And so highly recommend you go and follow Big Craig, 31,000 followers.